Hello. I've been meaning to put together some decorating. Oh, and my cat joins us. I've been meaning to put together some cookie decorating tutorials for my collection of lesser known Christmas characters. So this is La Befana from Italy. And I also have Krampus from Austria, the pooping log from Catalonia, Spain, the Ukrainians' Christmas spider, and Iceland's the Yule cat. So I'm going to do 5 live streams up until Christmas where I'll decorate each of these cookies, because I know I get lots of questions like, how do you decorate the cookie cutter and stamp sets? So I figured I would do them as a live stream, save them, and then also turn them into reels. So if you get these cookie cutters and stamps, you have somewhere you can follow along with the cookie decorating process. So I'm just going to get started. And I'll tell you a bit about La Befana as I'm going. So La Befana is Italian for the Christmas witch. She is a beloved figure from Italian Christmas folklore. According to legend, on their journey to Bethlehem, the 3 wise men stopped to ask La Befana for directions, and they invited her to join them. She turned them down, but later had a change of heart and went in search of the baby Jesus, leaving candy for good children and onions for naughty children throughout her journey. She never found the baby Jesus, but she continues to look for him every year on the eve of Epiphany, which is January 6th, and still leaves presents for the good children along the way. She is depicted as a sort of a scary old bag lady type witch, but she is actually a kind and gentle figure who represents the end of the year, and the broomstick that she rides serves to sweep the past away and preparing a clean space for the new year. So if you don't know anything about La Befana, now you do, since I know she's not well known here in North America. So I'm just starting by outlining my cookies, and then I'm just going to sort of fill in these the snowflakes and the Star of Bethlehem here. And I'm just using this as sort of a rough piping outline, so I know where to flood later when I sort of fine tune this. And I'm also going to try and decorate this entire cookie start to finish within the next hour or so live, because my kids are napping right now, so I'm going to try and get it done before their nap time ends. I'm also going to go all the way, just fill in all of these lines and flood it all later. And of course, if you guys have any questions as I work my way through this, please feel free to let me know. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and flood the background sky first. Oh, and this is the one I made last year. So this is the Befana cookie I made last year, same cookie cutter and stamp. I preserved it with epoxy resin, added fridge magnets on the back. So she is on my basement fridge year round. So this is what she'll look like in the end. So now I'm just going to go ahead and flood all the areas of background. And I'm not going to be too careful going over these snowflakes just because I am going to repipe them afterwards. That's just my cat. She is fine. She's just old. Okay, I'm just sort of roughly going over this little snowflake. Again, I'm going to repipe these later. I just sort of wanted to pipe in the shape so that I sort of know where it's going to be later. You can totally like flood right over it and just freehand pipe it later though. Okay, now I'm going to start flooding in her. So I've just got a few different colors, and then I will go over everything with like a little bit of painted detail. So her broom will be brown too. think that's it for the color brown. I'll move on to the red. And if you're just joining, I'm just doing this Christmas cookie for La Befana, Italy's Christmas witch from Italian Christmas folklore. My sister says my cat's meows are very loud. Yes. Yes, they are. My cat will turn 20 in about a month. All right, she's coming along. I think I'm also going to do her shoes this same red. And now her sort of shawl. I'll do it in this orange color. Oh, and actually I meant to do this little strip of the bag, also brown. All right, so I'm almost done with the icing here. Do her face and hand. Give her a nice little long witchy nose. And chin. There we go. Someone says that Danielle says she just watched me again on Christmas cookie challenge. I've been on 2 episodes. One is season 3, episode 1, episode 3. I don't remember anymore. It's called Picture Perfect Christmas. That one I won, and then I came back for season 5 as a returning champion, and I didn't win. Okay, so she's all flooded, and now I'm just going to start adding back some of the detail that I flooded over. So I'm going to do this star here. So I'm going to flood this in, although I realized this is only piping icing, so that's fine. I'll make this piping icing work. See if I can drag out the little points of the star here. Right, I'm actually gonna, well, maybe I'll transfer this into a bag and cut a new tip here. So I find that this tip that I cut on this one piping bag, it's a little bit wide, so I'm just gonna transfer it into a new piping bag. Cut a fresh new tip, a little bit smaller this time. Okay, now I'm going to go back over some of these other little snowflakes in the sky here. Let's see. Since I had already sort of flooded the general shape, I sort of have a location to plot it. let's see, this one, it's got a little center. All right, so there's a few snowflakes and the Star of Bethlehem in the sky. I'll do this last little snowflake here. Add some little details to the snowflakes also. Okay, so here's how she's looking so far. I'm gonna add just like some tiny little dots throughout the background as well. So if you tuned in at the beginning of this live stream, I showed you what this cookie looked like before I started decorating it. It's like got a full stamp impression. You can see it on my feed. I posted a video not too long ago. Oh, I guess I touched this at some point. Kind of ruffled the edge. If you do buy this cookie cutter, this one has been like one of my most popular ones this year. I have 5 available of lesser known Christmas characters from different European countries. Krampus from Austria, La Befana from Italy, Cagatiao, the pooping log from Catalonia, Spain, and the Yule cat, Yola Katurin from Iceland, and also Ukraine's Christmas spider, which might actually be my favorite one. They've all got really sort of fun, unique little background stories, but the cookie cutters that I have for these ones come with stamps, so you don't even have to decorate it. Like this is the Yule cat, so you don't even have to decorate this cookie. You could even just like frost the back with white chocolate, and it'd be so good. But yeah, you don't even have to decorate, but if you wanted to, I'm every single day sort of, well, not every day, but over the course of 5 days from now until Christmas, I'll decorate one of these lesser known Christmas characters on a live stream. I'll record it, and then I'll also have the footage to like turn into a reel. Yeah, and then if you do have previously purchased or do buy these cutters, you can just refer back to my reels, and I'll save this live stream to my reels also, so it can be referenced. I already did Krampus. I actually did this cookie as a live stream last year, so he is saved to my feed from last year if you scroll back. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so she's flooded, and now I'm going to do all the outlines over her. So this was the one I did from last year. So you can see I added back some of the like black outline details that sort of fade when you flood in the colors. So I'm going to do that now, but I'm first just going to transfer my black icing into a new bag because I want a smaller tip again. I cut this one a little bit too large. Okay. Got a nice tiny tip cut here. Maybe a little bit too small. There we go. So I'm going to go back over some of these lines. She's looking pretty cute already. And I'll do that witchy pointy chin. And I'm going to probably paint on most of the face details. I mean, you could also totally just leave it. What's the word I'm looking for? A little more minimalist. Don't go for the painted details, just do the outlines. Still very cute. add some details on her broomstick here. Okay. I think I've pretty much gone over everything again. And Mara's Sweet Detail asks, what can I share? What app do I use to make my portrait pictures if I use one? I think maybe you're referencing the step-by-step graphics, like the illustrations that I use to then put on my projector to like essentially trace like an illustration of each step in the cookie decorating process for my portrait cookies. I really just create those for classes. Sometimes, usually when I'm just doing like a portrait cookie on my own, I'll just use a photograph. But for that, I use Adobe Illustrator. And it's not like an app that automatically creates like a step-by-step, illustrated process or anything like that. Those graphics for creating the step-by-step pictures for the portrait cookies, they can take like 8 hours, to illustrate like every single step in creating the portrait. So it's not like a fast process, and that's like I'm a professional graphic designer by trade, so that is a lot of like years of practice with Illustrator. So it's not the easiest thing to use unless you sort of already know how to use it. Yeah, so there isn't really like an easy answer for that on how I create those. It's just like a digital illustration. But they are fun to make. I do have a couple of videos. There's one of Rachel Weisz from The Mummy that I posted to my feed of like the whole illustrating process. So definitely go take a look at that. I've been meaning to do sort of like a class that's like intro to Adobe Illustrator if you wanted to learn how to, design in Illustrator. But I just don't seem to quite have the time lately. Okay, so she's fully flooded. A little choked, I somehow bumped this edge here. See if I can gently press it back down. Okay. Let's see. So next up is painting it. She's not like totally dry enough for me to start painting. So I'm just looking at, this is the one that I made last year where there are painted details, shading. I do the Star Gold. So maybe I'll actually start with that because it's probably fairly dry. And I love this paint palette, Sweet Sticks. It's their rainbow palette. I do believe it has been discontinued, but some places might still have it in stock. And it's all water activated metallic paints. So you just add a bit of water to activate the colors. Oh, maybe I should do the Star Silver this time since I did it gold last time. Yeah, I'll do that. Maybe I'll also add just a bit of edible glitter to this too. Could be pretty. Oh, that's a very full little jar. So this is just from Fancy Sprinkles. It's their rhinestone silver edible glitter. Okay, and maybe this time, see, last time I outlined the star with a bit of white. Maybe this time I'll outline it in black, just to change things up. Might want to wait for that paint to dry first, though. I'll come back to that. But I'll get started on, I think she is actually starting to dry a little bit. So I'll just grab some of my colors here. Zoom in for you guys. I mean, I only just flooded these like a half an hour ago, so I wouldn't recommend normally painting while it's still like just barely crusted over. But I want to try and get this all done within like a live stream while my kids are napping. So I'm just gonna go for it and hope I don't puncture through. So we'll start with like the bag, and I'll just add in some shading. So my rule is sort of like anywhere like around edges, you can add darker shading, and then towards like central areas, you keep it lighter, and that helps give it more of like a 3D effect. You also don't have to paint this cookie at all. I mean, you could totally just leave it at flooded and piped. But I'm gonna go for all the detail here. And again, I'll save this live stream so that if you want to reference it, for the cookie decorating purpose, then you know where to find it. It'll be saved under my reels. And I'm going to use just a little bit, tiny bit of like white gel right here to just sort of add a bit of a highlight to the bag so that it looks more 3D with the shading and highlight. Okay, so there's her little sack of gifts and onions. Just keep picking this up right in the wrong spot. Maybe I'll paint in her bag, the gifts in her bag, I mean. All right, add some detail to her face. Sort of like some little old lady wrinkles. Just sort of cleaning up some of the edges to really enhance like the shape of her face. Just by adding a little bit more black detail. Some brush strokes to her hair. To her little white collar here. All right, get started on her shawl and then her skirt. And let's see, I don't want it to be so vibrant orange, so I'm going to use a bit of brown to just sort of mute the orange tones. Again, adding shadow sort of in these areas of folded cloth. I'm just being super gentle with my brush strokes because this icing is nowhere near dry. It's just barely crusted over. She's looking so cute already. Such a difference adding some shading around the edges makes. All right, now I'll start on the skirt. Oh no, see, not dry, not dry. There we go. All right, so close to being done now. That actually went a lot faster than I thought it might. If you're only just tuning in, I have a collection of 5 cookie cutters and stamp sets of lesser known Christmas characters from European Christmas folklore. So this is La Befana from Italy. She is the Christmas witch there. She's like a Santa Claus figure. And for her, her little spiel is that according to legend, on their journey to Bethlehem, the 3 wise men stopped to ask for directions from her, and they invited her to join them on their journey. She declined, but later changed her mind and went in search of the baby Jesus, leaving candy for good children and onions for bad children along the way. She never did find the baby Jesus, so she continues to look for him every year on the eve of Epiphany, which is January 6th, and still leaves gifts for children along the way. So that is Italy's little folklore Christmas story that you may not have heard of, or maybe you have. She is usually depicted as like a scraggly old lady and ugly, but she is actually a very kind and gentle Christmas witch who represents the end of the year. And her broomstick that she rides serves to sweep away the past preparing a clean space for the new year. And so she is the Italian Christmas figure that I have in my collection. And I've got 4 others. Krampus from Austria. He is a scary one. An enforcer of good behavior. The Yule Cat from Iceland, who is also a scary one. And also an enforcer of good behavior. The Christmas spider from the Ukraine, which is my favorite story. It's an origin story for tinsel. A spider living in a rundown shack with this family. You know, here's the children crying on Christmas Eve because they can't afford to decorate their tree. So all the spiders come together during the nighttime of Christmas and cover the tree in cobwebs so that when the sun hits it the next morning, it is sparkling silver and gold from all the spider webs, and the children are thrilled, and it's a really cute story. And then I also have Cagatiao from Catalonia, Spain, also known as the pooping log. So he is like a wooden log decorated with a face and a blanket. And you sing songs around him, you beat him with a stick, and then he defecates gifts. So these are all, I didn't make these stories up. These are European folklore stories. Lesser known to us in North America, but I think they're so much fun. Add some details here to her broomstick. Oh, and her hand, perhaps. Add some shading here. And I'm going to save this live stream to my feed. So if you own this cookie cutter and stamp set, or you want to get it, for next Christmas, this video will still be up on my page. So you can rewatch it if you want to learn how to decorate this particular cookie. And I'm also going to do the other ones in my collection as we get closer to Christmas also. I've already done a live stream of Krampus. I did him last year actually, so he's already saved. So you can scroll back in my reels to find the decorating recorded live stream for the Krampus cookie. Or you don't have to decorate the cookies at all if you just want to leave them plain. This is sort of the style that they are. This is Cagatiao, the pooping log. Ukrainian Christmas spider. You can totally just leave them as plain gingerbread. I don't know. Dip it in, just do like a very thin flood glaze so that the lines sort of fill. Or dip the backside in icing, or drizzle white chocolate over the backside. It's the Yule Cat from Iceland. So you don't have to decorate them, but if you want to, I'm going to post the videos to my page so you don't have to buy anything in addition to the cutters to learn how to decorate these. So Stir Crazy says, I love to bake, but I could never do that with cookies. You totally don't have to decorate them. Like I said, This one also comes with this cutter and stamp, similar style to this one. So you can just make gingerbread or a chocolate sugar cookie or regular sugar cookie and just leave it undecorated. Or even, I also think is really cute, use the cutters and stamps and then put together like cookie decorating kits for like kids or whoever might enjoy that. I did that with some of my little cousins last year. I have like a Nutcracker, the Nutcracker, the Mouse King, Clara, and the Sugar Plum Fairy cookie cutters and stamps. So I did like a whole bunch of cookies that were like stamped with the pattern and then put together little decorating cookie kits so that the kids could decorate their own cookies that, you know, had the pattern actually stamped on it. So it wasn't just like a plain cookie where you can't really tell what the shape is. I'm just outlining the Star of Bethlehem here. And someone asked, do I use royal icing and do I have a recipe for it? I do use, this is royal icing, and I do have a recipe for it. You can purchase it through my online shop. It's not just, usually royal icing is like simple egg whites or meringue powder with water and your powdered sugar. Mine has a few more ingredients, nothing that's like super specialty, but some ingredients that do make a massive difference to both the flavor and sort of like the outcome. So this cookie I only flooded, I don't know, like 45 minutes ago. And I was able to paint on it just because the icing itself is like, it's quite stable. It crusts over well, but it also remains a soft bite underneath. So it doesn't become like rock hard royal icing that most people think of when it comes to royal icing. And also dries with more of a glossy sheen. As you can see, it's still a bit wet here. But it does dry with a glossy sheen, which really helps if you're painting cookies. But also it does taste really good. I know royal icing gets a bad rap for tasting not good, but this does actually taste really good. And I'm quite picky about how things taste. Just gonna fine tune some of these tiny little points. Someone asks, can I get your icing in Canada? Yeah, I don't sell it as a mix. It's available as like a digital download recipe card on my website. So you can find it there. And the ingredients are all like very, very commonly used staple ingredients that can be found in any grocery store. And it comes with two options. An egg white royal icing version and a meringue powder royal icing version. Maybe I'll add some little silver sparkles in the sky also. My little silver palette here. So this is by Sweet Sticks. It's their rainbow edible metallic palette. You don't need alcohol with it. It's just water activated. And the link for the icing, it can be found in the link in my bio. I don't think I can post it to this live stream because it's not like on my clipboard right now, but if you go to the link in my bio, there should be like a category for my recipes. It's there. It's only like, I can't remember how much it is. $6 Canadian, which is like $3.50, $2, $4 US. It's not expensive, but it does, help support me, my business. I'm in Canada. I do not make money off of views at all. I'll add some little silver flecks in the sky. Oh, and someone asks, what product did I use in the end that gives it that glass effect? So I think you would just mean the shine on the icing. So the icing is as shiny as it is right now because it's not actually dry. I only flooded this icing like 45 minutes ago and basically went immediately into painting it because I just wanted to do this entire cookie decoration within the span of this live stream before my kids wake up from their nap. So it will become less shiny as the icing fully dries all the way through. But it is a royal icing recipe that does stay quite shiny. But there's nothing additional used on top, but it will lose some of the shine as it dries. So choked, I smashed this part with my finger. I guess that means I need to eat this cookie because it's ruined. I'll add some little sparkles on top of that. Okay, there we go. Maybe I'll even add a few more little sparkles. Just going to use this is Fancy Sprinkles edible glitter. I'll just sprinkle a little bit of their edible glitter on sort of the sky. And someone asked, do I sell these cookie cutters? Yes, I do. So again, if you go to luciebakes.com, it's LUCIE bakes.com. If you just go to like the homepage of my website and type in Italy in the search bar, this one will come up because this is Italy's Christmas character. So I've got Italy for La Befana, the Christmas witch, the Ukrainian Christmas spider. I'll decorate this one next, which will probably be maybe Saturday or Sunday. I'll do a live stream where I decorate the Ukrainian Christmas spider, my favorite one. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those Christmas ornaments that are just like a sparkly spider web. It never occurred to me that it actually had some kind of a meaning, but it is actually based on the Ukrainian Christmas spider. Iceland's Yule cat, also a favorite. Spain's Cagatiao, the pooping log, poops out gifts for kids. And Austria's Krampus. So these are the 5 that I have available in my online shop. And if you can go to my cookie cutter page, they'll be like first listed in line under the like main category of all cookie cutters. Oh, and yes, it is La Befana. And all of these ones come with like a little card with her story. And the other ones also come with little cards that just like explain their story. Oh, and she meant, sorry, and someone back to the glass effect. This glass effect. So this was the first La Befana cookie I made. This one last year, when I like first made this cookie cutter, I tested it out and decorated it. What was the glass effect? So this is epoxy resin. So it is, yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like an enamel finish. I use art resin, epoxy resin, to preserve my cookies that I like the most. Yeah, not edible anymore. When it's a year old, so it would be crazy stale if I broke her open, but totally preserves the cookie itself from, crumbling apart. And I added magnets to the back. Yeah. So there we go. So that's the glass effect. It's epoxy resin, which I just use to seal the cookie to keep it preserved. So this cookie is like, I guess, a little bit over a year old at this point. And there's, Befana. And so someone also, Stir Crazy, can you turn these into ornaments if you poke a hole at the top? You could poke a hole at the top before baking it. Totally could do that. I didn't do that. So what I have, do I not have any more? You can get these, let me grab one. So if you make the cookie and then realize, oh, I wish I turned it into a Christmas ornament because it's so Christmassy. You can get these. So this is like a giant Shrek. They're heavy, but these hooks are great. This is a Shrek portrait cookie. I preserved it in resin. And then I got this. It's, if you search on Amazon, it's like a self-adhesive ceiling hook. So I guess normally you would stick it to the ceiling so you could hang like a decoration of some kind. But I just stuck it on the back of the cookie, and I've had this hanging on my tree for like a month now. It's fine. This thing is not coming off. If I tried to pull this off, it would probably rip the resin right off of the cookie. But yeah, you can get these and turn it into an ornament if it's like an afterthought. You're like, oh, I wish I had done this. But yeah, so there she is, La Befana. And someone else says you could make it out of clay. Like you can make clay dough like people make. Oh yeah, so you can totally use, I've had people buy my cookie cutters and stamps to use with actual pottery clay, and then they fire it in their kiln, but it's becomes a actual piece of clay. Ceramic, like a pottery piece, but it's flat, and they pop a hole through the top and turn it into a glazed ceramic Christmas ornament. So I have had people do that. You could totally use it with salt dough, regular dough. You can use them with fondant. Yeah, you can use them with any type of impressionable material, edible or not. Yeah, so there's La Befana, and I'm going to save this little cookie decorating live stream to my page so that if you have this cookie cutter or you get the STL for it or you want to decorate it next year or something, you know where to find it. All right, so see you guys later. Yeah, and again, I'll save this to my reel so you can rewatch it there.